Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with Ms.B. Today is a very special day and a very special video for me as I am turning 50. So today is my 50th birthday and I could not be happier to have a little moment to spend with you all creating something beautiful and unique about a theme that is very, very dear to me, mostly in this day, which is peace. So we are going to create together a beautiful mandala. And in the design, actually, if you are around my age, you will probably feel a little nostalgia for, the 80s, the 90s, like the symbol that we are going to create and the pattern around it. It is truly inspired by that time in history. And as I say, that is such an important and universal essential concept, right? The concept of peace. What is individual peace, inner peace, social peace, economical peace, spiritual peace, peace for this beautiful planet that we got so lucky to live in and to share all together. So for this practice, you need your art journal or a mixed media paper, a pencil for drawing, something that is a circle, right? And you can find it. I got a ball from my kitchen, so you can find any tools that allows you to trace a perfect circle. Alcohol markers, you know that I use a Shadow Art. You can use your own brand. If you don't have alcohol markers, you can use regular markers, and the design and the practice will be amazing. Nevertheless, if you prefer to use coloring pencil, the coloring might take a little longer, but if that is your media, go for it. I always encourage you to follow my video. And sometimes you want to do exactly what I do, even choosing the same color palette. Sometimes I suggest you, and I always encourage you to explore alternatives and your own way to personalize something that we create together in this video. And as I say, I just want to express my gratitude. I feel your love. I feel your support. In a YouTube channel, I rarely interactions like the ones that I see and I read and I respond to in this channel. And I just want to thank you because you are building this community online with me. And I could not be more grateful. And I feel truly blessed. And you are my gift for my 50th birthday. I cannot believe it that I'm a half century old. And what a moment to be alive. So much still to do. And places to go. And time to spend together, spreading love, spreading, peace, spreading the love for art and creativity. And so thank you so much. I'm gonna switch to the camera so we can start, and let me know in the comment how it goes. Please subscribe to this channel, visit my social media as well as my store online, as I creating a little beautiful corner and a happy corner for all of us, regardless our age, artistic backgrounds, and any differences that we might have. We still have way more things in common that, bring us together as humans. So that's my message for you all, and let's have some fun with a colorful design. Ciao. Okay, friends, this is my journal, and I will proceed to do my usual black frame to kind of reduce a little bit of space. As I always remind you, you can use the whole page if you want the design to be a little bigger, if you don't like the idea of a frame, or you can do it and you can use rulers or any tools to support your design. Now, I'm going to place my IKEA bowl inside and as much as possible in the center. Then remember that if it doesn't stay in the center, it is okay, because perfection is not what we are aiming for, right? Or working on. Beautiful. Now, once you have your circle, I did it with a pencil just in case, okay? Also because I didn't want to spoil the ball with the Sharpie. Now, I'm going to support you like in designing the peace symbol. And I grew up with this symbol, and I think that we should do it and create it more, because, as we see in the world, is a concept that we struggle with. So let's remind ourselves. So we're going to use like a more or less in the center of the circle, you're going to do 2 parallel lines, okay? So they have to go straight in the same directions and never meet. Then we are going to develop a diagonal from this side, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Now, if you have my age, this is very, very, very familiar to you. So if you're younger, maybe you didn't see this symbol that much, and this is a good reminder and a good inspiration for all of us. Now we have to create the two parallel lines, one over here, and we stop when the first one, like when the first vertical line start, and we do the same on the other side. Okay, now we need to create the same just type of parallel lines going down a little shorter, so we have 1 and 2. Now we get to connect these lines with a round line. Once again, try your best to go along with the lines of the circle. If it's not perfect, it's even better. So you go slow with your hand so you can follow what the pencil, like the movement. Carefully, you're going to connect these two. You're going to connect these two. And we are finally going to connect the last two. And now I will design a beautiful funny pattern for inside the symbol, actually like in a symbol. And you know that I love circles. I want to repeat the shape of the circle, and I'm going to start to set some circles here and there. Now, if you struggle in tracing circle, if you have a small glue stick, for example, you can use it and trace it around. If you want to use any other tools that can support you, go for it. But my advice is to use your free hands. And if the circles are not perfect, they're more like ovals, it is totally okay. Embrace them because they will make your design unique and original and truly, truly, truly organic, handmade. Also, I want to pretend that all of these circles are the symbol for all human beings, right? Group of society, entities, community. Each circle could represent one country, one community, one whatever. And we are all like together working toward peace, which is the ultimate and most important goal for all of us, for the sake of all of us, all civilizations on Earth and the Earth itself. Now I'm doubling this circle and allow me to add a little more personal perspective to this design, because this is a gift that I'm doing to myself for my birthday. And half a century is a beautiful accomplishment. I feel blessed because not everybody gets to see that, their 50th birthday. So I feel blessed and lucky. And my pledge is to the world, to peace and love, and to more growth that I have to do, like every other human being. So now I'm going to add the smaller circles to fulfill the spaces that I left, some gaps between the circle. And I want it to be like a natural. So I don't want it to be perfect anyhow. Just, feel the gaps as you see them. And you cannot imagine, it was a very popular symbol. So I had them on my journal. Growing up in Italy, for school, for high school, you need to provide your own diary. So like basically is a planner where you add the, notes, homework, blah, etc., etc. I want to say that we use those planners more for creating our own art than anything else. So that was fantastic. Now, let's start with the coloring. So I'm going to use a sky blue number 76 if you're using the shadow art markers. But as always, I suggest you, if you don't like the palette that I'm using, use your own palette. This is to be really, really personal design. So I want to have a beautiful, nice and not too dark background, and I want to play with some complementary colors of the blue, which are the orange. So the peace sign will be very, very warm, very intense, very bright, um, how peace should be important and dear and bright and intense to overpower other things. Peace should always prevail, and it will. And if you're using, of course, Shadow Art or any other brand of alcohol markers, they always come, or usually come with these two tips. The thick one, that's truly a blessing because it allowed us to fulfill bigger space without, feeling tired, without tiring our hands, without leaving gaps. And so for the kids, it could be something like that helps them and support their coloring, but at the same time, challenge their fine motor skills, right? I like to do this little frame around and the outlining just so it's like you're sure that you're staying inside the space that you intend to color. And probably, because I will have a lot of colors, I'm going to use the same color to go around my circle and to fulfill the background entirely. I love these symbols that we are creating together because I feel that is the transgenerational. So every generations, it's important for many generations. And I know that some generations are more familiar with this symbol, some other maybe less. And that is a beautiful opportunity to have everybody, kids, young people, adults, senior, works together on a very, very popular and common symbols, and also on a very important concept for all of us. Peace is what we own to ourselves, what we own to our younger generation and our kids, the children of the world, and to this planet. And now I feel so excited about that. Probably already have different idea for different designs that I could do, create new, like a whole collections of the peace symbol revisited in different styles with different colors, featuring different elements of the design inside. I'm going over just to bring together a little bit the foundational colors and to cover some of the strokes. To kind of also play a little bit with saturation, a little more saturated, a little less saturated. So that it's also beautiful. Now, something like a little, accident happened and I got a little bit of blue outside, and I will just double this black line to cover it. All done. Now, onto our circle. So for the first circle, the circle inside, I will use a number 2 all red, which is a very dark, deep color. And as I say, if you're using my markers, so if you have another brand that feature the same colors, even sometimes the name or the number might be different, you can use that. But if you want to go for a different palette and use your favorite color, go for it, because this is your symbols, this is your time with the art journal and with some art practice, and you know, need to allow yourself to make personal connections, right? You need to enjoy and truly understand what you're doing. And this is such, you know, simple design that everybody can follow, everybody can create successfully and feeling good. And it's a beautiful opportunity to reflect on the essential uh, questions that go with the concept of peace. What does peace means to me? What does peace means to others? How we can build a world of peace? What are the benefits of peace? So by allowing ourselves to reflect on important, essential concept, I would say existential concept, we are enriching our own human experience, right? Now, I want to immediately break with something super bright and intense, and I'm going to use the 34 deep yellow, which is almost like a truly light orange, at least in the shadow art markers. And it is beautiful because first, these two colors are the colors of my city, the flag of Rome, Italy. Not only like also the soccer club, of course, but also the city. And so I'm spontaneously attracted to those colors because it's something that is a little nostalgic for me, right? Something that I used to see, I used to draw, I used to color a lot as a young woman, right, an adolescent, probably is memorized in my brain and in my soul with these colors. So these are the colors of my city, and I love the fact that this deep yellow is embracing the dark red and is making it really pop. I cannot tell you how many of these super colorful like symbols, designs. Sometimes it would just be names of me, my friends, the boys that I, you know, had a crush on, with all these colorful, whimsical pattern. That was our thing. And then sometimes I remember that we would exchange our planners with other, you know, truly dear friends, and they can create their art on our planner or journal, and we can create art on theirs. And that was, you know, before the phones, right? Yeah, it's a beautiful experience. So let's bring it back. Let's bring back the love for drawing and journaling, exchanging this way. Let's bring this back. Now I'm going to use a cherry pink, which is a number 5 for the smallest circles. I want something still very like hot, bright, intense, cheerful. And this carries a little bit of pink undertone in it, hot pink. I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but that is, if you're using the same colors that I'm using, you will notice that. Okay. And then I will switch to a vermilion, which is a dark orange, or maybe actually I will go for a traditional orange, number 23 in my palette. And I will color the background, what is left out of the design. Yes, I think that is better because the vermilion, which is a beautiful orange, is a little darker than normal orange, and so it will not create that contrast with the smaller circle. That was my reasoning behind choosing um, last minute the orange instead of the vermilion. I'm first kind of going around and taking care of all the outlines. I always did the same. It's funny that I am 50 and I'm doing something that I did as a 15, years old. And believe it or not, it's such a powerful experience that I'm having right now. And once again, I am so happy and I feel so blessed that I got to share it with you all. And I remember that exactly as I'm doing right now, I used this same technique when I was a kid, doing all the outlines first and then filling the gaps and the space, the white space with colors. And then, of course, I would do the outline and then finally increase the pattern and the design with the extra fine black markers. And I am in a very happy place right now. And I hope that you are also in a very happy place, regardless, the week that you had and the week that you have ahead. Just like being silly and play with colors and have fun in doing something simple but so meaningful. Okay, and now on to filling gaps and embracing the satisfaction that comes with that. While we make our statement on the paper and we pledge ourselves, to peace, to building peace in our life, to building peace in other people's life, to protect the peace, to set healthy boundaries, and to peacefully tell our truth. I know that also sometimes filling the gaps between a design, mostly the ones that feature rounded lines, can come with some little frustrations, right? And annoyance, but remember that that is also part of the journey when we do pattern art. And that is the proof, right, for us to um, stick to the practice, handle our little frustration, and use it in a productive way and a positive way. If you need to take a moment of break, you take that moment. You know yourself. If you want to test your patience, keep going. Okay. Now, first, I will go back to my regular black Sharpie, and I will do the outline first of the symbol itself. When you do outline, as I always say to my students, mostly if you're a kid or if you're a very beginner, just go slow. If you need to go slower than I go, just do you. But the outlines um, have to support the design. If you do them quickly and they're not gonna be like a precise, you might instead damage the design and cover it, right? So it's basically redesigning again what you did at the very beginning to enhance it and support it. So you need to take kind of care and time to do them. And if you have a little like imperfection, like it happened right now, just you double the line, which probably I want to double anyway because I want to have one side. So this side we double it and we make it thicker to create a sort of a little shadow, cast a shadow. And it will be way easier if you move around your pages and you twist it and turn it around. I try not to do it because I don't want to bother you. And I will double this line as well and then fill it with black. Consequently, we do it here too. And then we do it over here, this side, the other side. And then now the design is starting to truly pop. And with the same Sharpie, we go around the circle. So we cover the pencil lines and everything is markers, right? We are also making our statement very permanent on the paper. Now this white space that we started with doesn't exist anymore. It is now colorful and filled with the symbol of peace, and with patterns and colors. So we permanently changed the nature of the surface that we were using, the paper. And we are making on it a beautiful statement that we should make every day. We can have a challenge, 100 days of peace symbol. And you can share on my social media the pieces that you created. And I can share mine. Now we switch to the extra fine black Sharpies and we are going to start some pattern. So on the background here, I want something nice and flat. So I will do just vertical lines and try your best to make them as close as possible to one another. If by accident some of your lines are not perfect or they will overlap a little bit, it is totally okay. It's actually even more beautiful because, as we say, it gives personality it gives some movement and rhythm, right, to your own piece. And this is when we breathe in and out. We settle. We let everything else go. Not thinking should happen, because now we are just repeating the same simple gesture over and over. And I know that some of you might be very precise and you want your lines to be straight. If you truly feel that you want to use a ruler or a tool, right, you can, as long as it doesn't break this moment of relaxation and letting go. No worries about the design, no worries about anything. We are just tracing lines. And following our inner rhythm. It made me think about like a sort of a veil. Sometimes it's moving with the wind. This is also a fantastic exercise. For example, you know that I injured my hand still. I'm at 95% probably of my recovery. So this is a beautiful therapy for me, for my hand, who's still recovering. Now I would like the concept of piece to radiate around, and so we use the same type of lines to fulfill this, but I will start instead in a diagonal and I will follow the different directions. So probably in this case I will have to turn around and twist the design, but at this point you got the whole concept and the whole thing, so it won't make any different for you and won't bother you. Little by little you will start to transition, right, into a different direction, so you can follow, basically pretend that you're doing from a center point, like something radial. And because this is a little tedious work, right? A lot of lines to repeat around, that's the part of the practice that I'm using to affirm and confirm my intention of on peace. I want it with all of my heart, with all of, my body. This is what I want, and I am embracing it, and I am committing myself to it. Also beautiful, the black on this sky blue. Such a neat contrast. And I want to think about these hundreds of lines that we are tracing together as all of us, all the humanity, all the strings that have to go back to peace. We're almost there. And it is all done. And I'm very happy that we did this design together. And probably I will make more since it was a beautiful, happy, and inspiring experience. And happy, happy birthday to me. And once again, subscribe, keep sharing your thoughts in comments. And I see you all very soon with another video. Ciao.